Alright, so this is basically going to be a really quick masterclass on editing portraits because Josh Ball is very good at portrait editing. I think his style is so filmic, so professional. If you don't have a style at the moment, you don't know what style to do, I'd like heavily suggest having a look at Josh's work just because it's so minimally edited, but the effect it has is really smooth. He does a really great job of keeping his edits consistent and not over edited. So what we're doing is turning this one from the right here to the reference screenshot of his Instagram. So I'm just going to crop things around and post to give us some room. So the curves are done here, but we'll go over them shortly. For the settings, 2.8, so there's nice softness to the foreground, background. I think I see him shooting a lot with a 50mm prime. Low ISO, it's nice and bright. Shutter just to expose the image. So yeah, pretty well exposed. So this is straight out of the camera. Yeah, he nailed the white balance and everything, and now we've just got to try to give the image some character and style through editing. Okay, just before we get into doing the curves, he has a very common trait, I believe, of bringing down the highlights. So I'll try to dive deeper into what this looks like. So it's a flatness to the image. You can see how flat everything is when it's to the left, and then how glowy it is the other way. Contrast a bit darker. Dehaze down for softness, and you can see that raises the shadows as well, so it's going to reduce contrast. We want it nice and smooth, so down, and then we'll even do texture for softness as well. And shadows, we just want to see more detail. Go a little bit warmer. Take out some purple tone with this split. Okay, vibrance. His colors have a nice pop to them, and saturation down. Okay, so if we just reset, that's what we've done so far. You can already see that we're a long way there. Even the colors, and we've even touched split toning in HSL yet. And also what we're gonna go over a little later on is the brushes and filters. So I've got a few here already done, and at the end I'll sort of explain what they're doing. Okay, as for curves, how do we know we need to do these? What effect do they have? I mentioned he likes like a smoothness to his highlights. So we're gonna do a bit extra in this curve. So as you can see, flatness, just doing it a bit. Okay, so this curve there's not much going on here. He's doing that effect again here in the highlights. This is just so there's not too much contrast in the shadows. You can see how you get that little shine. It's interesting, the people that get the shine not by raising the blacks, because getting the shine by raising the blacks would look like this. This is what most people do to get a little shine, which looks good. But it's interesting when people do this. So I think you get like a different shine higher up in the image, like in the brighter shadows. Okay, and then color channels, we have lots of contrast coming into the shadows. So this is the dark part of the image. Watch my other trainings if you don't understand the curves. Lots of contrast. We're leaving the highlights alone. Obviously we've got way less blue than the other colors, so we are getting lots of warmth into the image, especially the highlights, and we're getting more blue in the dark shadows. So that's sort of balancing out those warm tones in the highlights and then the cool tones in the dark shadows. So it's very easy to see that the red and green are very similar, and there's just so much warmth put in the highlights and then coolness put in the shadows with the use of this blue curve, and then just so much contrast is put into the image using these curves. And then this one is for fade, and then this one for matte look, a lot of people talk about. Up here, fine tune. What I'll actually do is come all the way down, because it's hard to get your colors right when your brightness and stuff isn't quite right. So a little bit of vignette, just because our subject is so in the middle of the image and is so important to stand out. While we're here, just a little bit of green. Something like that. So we want this warm and cool split again. We want more warm tones. So I would go shadows, more warm tones. You can see how that comes through. Highlights, even some more. Not that much. So now HSL, we should be done. So there's just little things like how bright is her hoodie in skin tone. Bring this down, I'd say. Yellows for a little bit of shine. Blues, deep, aquas, not much in the image. Bring them down a touch. Purple, magenta, not much in there. Not much in there. Now saturation, let's go. Just matching them up. Just looking at the other. I'm actually gonna bring yellows up. Like the warm tones, it really emphasizes the yellows and warm tones. Again, there's not much blue and aqua in this. Well, there's lots of blue in the car. Quite strong. Purple, not a lot. Looks to be down. It's only a tiny bit of the car. Yellows play a bit of a role, and they seem to be a bit more of an orange rather than like yellow. So we'll go somewhere around here. Green, not much green. Blues for the car, we look about bang on. So I'm just going to leave it about there. Okay, we're about done, and I'll show you the masking. So we got this one on the shoe. I just thought the shoe was very, we brought up the exposure just to give the light hits it, looks nice. Got this one, just a little brush on her face. We increase the contrast and the exposure a tiny bit just on her face, brings her face out a touch. The shoe was like overwhelmingly bright, so just exposure down just so her like face is the brightest thing in the image. And then the whole subject, exposure up the tiniest bit, contrast up the tiniest bit. For the colors are kind of washed out. You can see there's a real purple tone as well somehow, probably from the car. Like it's in her skin and it's in the shoe and stuff. And then we get this matted look. It's kind of underexposed. Like if you looked at the histogram, I don't use the histogram and I don't really think anyone should. So it looks underexposed because of all this like matted style we did. But we still see as much detail. And it looks way smoother, it looks way nicer. So again, here's reset after. So curves played a really big role in this. You can see the contrast and smoothness and a lot of warmth. HSL didn't do a lot. A little bit of split toning to warm it up. For sharpening, I'll probably bring sharpening right down. White balance is pretty bang on at the beginning, but as I said, there was lots of purple tone in the original. So we just took out that purple tone. And then clarity, texture, dehaze is all just style. So up to you whether you like the soft look, lower contrast, bit of haze, texture just sort of blurs the image a little bit. I think softening your image makes it look more filmic. Sharpening down also helps that. Vignetting, just because the subject's bang in the middle, I think it helps. I think on her face, maybe dehaze it. I feel like there's more detail in the face for his. Yeah, something like that maybe. Or a bit more clarity because we took it out in a different area. I think the face has more detail now. It's back to how it was originally. So again, let's go reset after. Okay, comment down below and I will catch you in the next one.